Hi, and welcome back to the mini farm. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a simple homemade mayo with real ingredients that is actually really good for you. So if you want to see how easy it is to make your own homemade mayo, then just keep watching. But first, please give this video a thumbs up if you like videos like this, and click the red subscribe button below. If it's already gray, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate having you here, and I love our chats in the comment section. Without further ado, here's how you make simple homemade mayo. I'm making some homemade mayo today, so I thought I'd bring you guys along to show you. I've been meaning to show you this recipe for a long time actually. I need 3 room temperature eggs. These are like fresh from the chicken coop, so they're pretty much room temperature. Some salt, oil. I'm going to use avocado oil with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil today. If you use too much extra virgin olive oil, it could be overpowering unless you really love the flavor of extra virgin olive oil. Otherwise, I would just use 100% avocado oil, or maybe like 2/3 and then 1/3, kind of whatever your preference is. But if you like a very neutral flavor, I would use avocado oil. Then some apple cider vinegar, mustard, and some people like it with a little bit of honey or sweetness to it. That's totally optional. If you are on a low sugar diet, obviously just avoid that. If not, then I would just add maybe like a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half of honey max in here. So first of all, you're gonna need your egg yolks. So I'm gonna separate these. You're also gonna need an immersion blender, which I'll talk about in just a second. So you want to use an immersion blender that fits right inside of your container. So I'm using a pint-sized wide mouth ball jar here. And I like to use these jars because they have all of the measurements for you right on the side, so I don't have to bring out extra equipment. Switch it back so you can see. So you just want something that will fit right at the bottom there, and you can kind of move it up and down, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. When you mix your ingredients down at the bottom, you want to layer them in a specific way, which is what we're ready to do right now. So first of all, we want to add our acid. You can use apple cider vinegar or lemon juice here. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And then you want some mustard. That's also very crucial to combining all of these things together, and it also gives it some great flavor. Let's put a little bit more than and then 1 teaspoon of salt. So we're going to put about a cup of oil in. Let's move this out of the way. The oil will rise to the top. And just to give it some complexity of flavor, I'm going to add a little bit of the extra virgin olive oil. Again, this is totally optional. If you like your mayo a little bit more mild, I would not add this. But if you like to give it some good complex flavor, this would be a good thing to add. I'm probably going to do about 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit less. Okay. So now I'm going to put my blender in at the very bottom here. I'm going to hold it down, maybe 1, 2, 3 pulses on high, let it really incorporate, and then hold it down with the button down until this gets nice and creamy, and then slowly bring it all the way up until it gets nice and creamy and mayo-ish like so. You're not going to be able to hear me very well when I put this in there, but I'll try to talk through it again while I put it in there. So put it all the way down at the bottom. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and then just hold it down. You can see that the mayo is starting to form down here. Once it's really thoroughly incorporated, I'm going to slowly raise it up out of the jar. That blender is getting a little bit too loud, so I'm going to turn down the volume on the background here so I can just talk to you guys about it. You can see the mayo forming at the bottom of the jar now. It's still kind of just sitting
resting at the bottom of the jar. And then very, very slowly, we're going to bring that blender up as the mayo starts to form underneath it with the oil layer on top. I went ahead and pushed it back down into the oil and mayo mixture. It was kind of getting pretty thick, so my blender was having a hard time keeping up with it. The newer ones would not have a problem with this though. And so once I get to the very top, you can kind of see that layer of oil on top. I'm going to push it back in to really incorporate the oil, and then I'm going to tilt the blender at an angle and then kind of pull it up through that way to really, really mix it in together.
And now just keep pulsing back and forth until you get rid of all the oil on the top. Now this is super, super thick, as you can see. This is a very, very thick mayo. So my really old hand blender is having a hard time pushing through it, but start at the bottom again. I'm going to angle it this time and work my way up at an angle. I'm gonna go get a spoon to clean this off. We got this immersion blender when we first got married. It was a part of our registry from 20 years ago. But if I have to buy one all over again, I would buy one that detaches so you can wash it. This one does not. So if you're in the market for an immersion blender, I would definitely pick one that has a detachable end that can be washed easily. And then just go in and kind of give it a final stir. And as you can see, some really thick, delicious mayo. Again, the honey is optional. I did not add mine today because I'm trying to do low sugar for everybody, and my dad is diabetic, and I'm going to be serving this with some homemade deviled eggs. So I want to make sure it's as low sugar as possible for my dad. But this is how you make a delicious, homemade, very easy mayo.
Hope you enjoyed this simple recipe today. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you haven't done so already, you can click on my face to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye!